Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on TheFederal. The show is called AI with Sanket. This is the AI of news because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. The Ram Mandir temple donation scam, in its coverage and in its response, seemed to have reached fever pitch yesterday when the trust members met and gave all journalists one big headline that Champat Rai and other accomplices have been removed from their position. Do remember that this could qualify as a headline management. They had already resigned, their resignations were accepted. Number two, they still remain members of the trust, which means that they exercise their control even now. Though they were not there in yesterday's meeting, but that is very little solace for a city and a temple where crores of rupees of donation theft, donation scam is in the news. The matter is still under investigation. So will this meeting or should this meeting qualify as nothing but an eyewash? What precious little has this trust done to build the trust again of the crores of Hindus who have faith in the Ram temple? I have two absolute authorities, my teachers who have taught me journalism, Mr. Sharad Pradhan as well as Madam Sunita Iron. I don't know why both of you are surprised, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have learnt a lot from your wisdom, from your commentary.
Thank you for all the
Thank
honor.
you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Let's just start one by one. Sunita ji, I want to begin with you first. What is your assessment? And by the way, before we do that, I would like to point out that just a couple of days ago on TheFederal, Sharad ji was here on a show where he predicted exactly this, that this is what is going to happen. A sham meeting will happen where sham decisions will take place and nothing of great consequence will come out. That is exactly what has happened. Sunita ji, your opening comments.
Yes, I think you have used the right word, eyewash, and it will not even satisfy the bhakts because everybody was expecting at least some concrete decisions which have not come. As for the acceptance of the resignation, that could have been done even without holding a meeting. And the basic thing is that had the trust said that now we need a bigger inquiry, maybe they could have suggested a bigger inquiry into it, or they could have talked about the systemic changes that they're going to make, because they have displayed the entire chadawa that they had received. They are also talking about they're accepting there was a theft, but Ripendra Mishra said it was a dacoity. So the level of the meeting should have discussed the dacoity and not the theft. This is not even a theft being discussed, and especially of a temple, of this iconic temple that we have. So in fact, it's a disappointment. And Champat Rai has been given all the compliments. I don't know why this was not the time to give him compliments. Right now, everybody was, even if he is not involved in the theft, it is his laxity. You can't overlook that. It's a very big thing. And the report says there have been 70 instances of theft. So what is the amount involved? Nobody knows exactly how much of the amount. If it was a dacoity, how many crores has been taken away? It's not few lakhs that has been recovered from the small fish. And I think it was not only an eyewash. It is just a non-starter. And RSS doesn't want to get dragged into the entire thing, so they're trying to keep away. But the point is that all the 8 guys who have been arrested, Champat Rai and everybody involved in it, and the movement and the temple, RSS and VHP have been involved from the very beginning. And there is a very thin line that divides RSS, VHP with BJP. So it's very difficult to know when one is in BJP and one in RSS. They graduate from one to another. We have seen it during the movement. So I think this, now they're meeting again on 22nd July. They're going to decide on a CEO and all that stuff. But it doesn't answer a lot of questions that are there in the public domain.
No, Mr. Sharad Pradhan, you can meet as
Yeah.
many times as you want. You can have chai, samosa, matri, whatever suits your palate. You can meet and you can condemn what has happened as much as you want. You can come in cars worth 1.25 crore rupees, a Toyota Wellfire. That was the car of the trustee of the temple. I mean, where are these? Where is this? Where are the riches coming from? I really do not know. So the problem is very systemic. I have no reason to doubt. Maybe it is the hard-earned money, just like Tinnu Yadav and his hard-earned money from his salary of 18,000. He was able to build a house worth crores. So it's quite possible. But this is a sham. This is an absolute sham. You'll meet again, then you will again. My point is, had this group met, they say that, you see, Champat Rai was not part of the meeting. Are, why is he still a member of this trust, Mr. Pradhan?
Sanket, the whole thing is very interesting. Mind you, we are all being misled to believe that the resignations have been accepted. There is no acceptance or refusal of the resignations, by the way. And this was made very clear by a legal luminary of this country, K. Parasaran, who is now 92 and was once upon a time Attorney General of India during both Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi's time. He has been a part of this trust right from the beginning. He was handpicked by Narendra Modi just as he handpicked Champat Rai. But mind you, he had yesterday when the press conference was held, it was very the manner in which this was conveyed that K. Parasaran insisted that the constitution of the trust, which nobody know, neither you know nor do I know, no, it's not been made public, does not merit an acceptance or refusal of the resignation. The resignation given is taken for acceptance. Can you imagine what a farce is being played? This is not even a sham. Very smartly, that is how they have retained Champat Rai and his cohort, this Anil Mishra, and there is no talk of the third crook, Gopal Rao. There is a reason. Let me tell you that by not formally accepting the resignation or refusing the resignation, they have created a situation where they claim that there is no need for anything like that. It is ab initio, it is kind of accepted, not accepted. By doing that, they have been able to continue the services of these crooks who will continue to be associated with the trust. And this is a smart game masterminded by the bigwigs in Delhi and Nagpur. Because both Modi, Amit Shah, and Bhagwat were on the same page as far as defending the crooks was concerned. Their only objective, right from day one, as I said, was how to protect, particularly the RSS chaps who were neck deep into this whole scam. The idea was to send a message across that, look here, RSS man can do no wrong. Just as Mr. Modi is demigod, he can't do any wrong. Although he handpicks all these crooks, and they continue to save them. Gopal Rai has strong connections. Gopal Rao has strong connections with Hosbale. And if you remember, there were these stories about a man traveling to Bangalore 50 times and carting some stuff in bags. Hindi mein bore keh diya tha, but they were bags. And he used to return by flight 50 times. And I mean, it may be just a coincidence that Hospale also happens to be located most of the time in Bangalore. But I am told that he is responsible for keeping Gopal Rao in a safe vault. Nothing has happened. No talk about it. What I fail to imagine is how far can they go? Nobody, no, only, no, I mean, even if we take Markandeya Kaju's most very popular controversial statement that 90% of Indians are donkeys, even donkeys will not believe this story that is being floated around by this gang of people who have chosen not to spare even Ram, in whose name they managed to ride onto the portals of power, in whose name they wish to continue winning elections, and in whose name they pilfer all the wealth that comes in God's name. And how can they? I mean, I wonder how they have the cheek to even call themselves Ram Bhakts. And interestingly, anybody who questions them is belittled, is dismissed as a Ram Virodi, as a Hindu Virodi, as a Sanatan Virodi, because their definition of Ram Bhakt is that you should have the freedom to pilfer, to plunder whatever money comes in the name of Ram. Then you are a true Ram Bhakt. If Akhilesh Yadav questions them, oh, then you can see the kind of ridiculous stories that are being floated about Akhilesh Rai having a connection with that Champat Rai's driver. I mean, Tinnu Yadav. Now, just because I mean, their level is so low, they can't think beyond caste. They thought that any Yadav in this country can be made to have a nexus with Akhilesh Yadav, as if Akhilesh Yadav has no other work but to keep listening to Tinnu Yadav 980 times. I was wondering whether Akhilesh Yadav had so much time to even talk to his father when he was there. This is just a ridiculous story. But then I realized, Sanket, that they floated this story with a purpose. They like to entangle you in a maze where there is no truth. It's a concocted, this whole concoction of involving Akhilesh Yadav with Tinnu Yadav has been done only to divert the attention of the people from the manner in which this eyewash has been played.
Very,
So
very interesting.
now Akhilesh Yadav is busy answering, the whole Samajwadi Party is busy blasting that Nishikant Dubey for having made this statement. He is one of them. Number of them have said this. It is only to engage you, to take your attention away. Don't talk about the chori. Now everybody talks, and because they have the media in their pocket, the Narendra Modi has media in his pocket. The entire Godi media is busy floating that. So very carefully, the opposition has to tread a very, very tight rope, and they must be prepared for the kind of things these people will float.
Very,
And
very interesting. So
they are
you're saying, yeah, so
masters
you're
in
saying that this is by design, a new formulation is coming up where you would want to play down this scam and divert attention and manage the headline. Sunita Iron, you see, right from the very beginning, when this scam or there was a whiff or a hint of a scam, we saw moves that were very manicured, cosmetic. Initially, there was no move at all. And then there were extremely manicured and cosmetic moves to suggest that, look, the trust is taking this very seriously and it has acted very strongly and moved swiftly. And then all hell broke loose. You see, you may want to manage whatever headline that you do, but this is related to the very same constituency that you as a political dispensation have catered. The constituency of Hindus, devout Hindus and Ram Bhakts. So you may try to protect people even now, but do you think that this is going to politically backfire? Even if assuming that Champat Rai is being protected even now.
Sanket, let me first talk about the caste twist to the entire thing, which Sharat also mentioned, connecting Tinnu Yadav with Akhilesh Yadav, just because he's a Yadav, And, the day Tinnu Yadav's name came, somehow I had this feeling that they tried to play some mischief here. Now, as I told you, I was listening
you're
to
right.
Swami.
Sunita ma'am, you're right. When I heard Tinnu Yadav, this is the same thought that crossed my mind. This is a recipe for politics.
Yes. So there is another interesting thing that Anand Sarup has said. Now, that goes against the BJP, although he says that we are closer to BJP than Congress, which, appeases Muslims. So he says that he's giving it a Brahmin twist. He says, look at the accused. Only the Brahmins have been fixed. And he says that the Brahmins are going to decide this election, 2027 elections. And right now, even in this scam, they have tried to fix only Brahmins and a Yadav. So this is how another twist is also being given, and in fact, he even credited Akhilesh Yadav for exposing it. So right now, even the Sant Samaj, the so-called Sant Samaj, is divided over it, and there is going to be a political fallout. But how big? That is what I just want, because somehow people have been brainwashed completely that they don't want to. When we talk about big fish, they're not looking at Modi and Yogi then. They think Modi and Yogi are out of it. They are not the guys who are responsible for anything. So if the vote is given to BJP and it is for Modi and Yogi, then I think the political fallout will be a little less. But they have lost their credibility. The BJP has lost its credibility completely. Everybody is talking about it. They are waiting for bigger action. In case Modi decide, he has not spoken on it at all. He has to break his silence one day because he can't. And I'm very sure he's going to do it maybe in the parliament or somewhere. In case the BJP, the central government orders an inquiry, a judicial probe, not a CBI inquiry I'm talking about, or a ED inquiry because of it's a national issue. It's not confined to UP only, and they're able, still months are there, and they're able to take more action in the matter. Then the damage will be, you can say they'll be able to control the damage that has been done. But because elections, Ram Mandir has been an issue in all the elections, this way or that way. They have done well. We all know how they rode to power on this temple issue. But in 2024, after the land was sold and there was corruption in that, they lost it also. But that was a very local damage that was done. But this time it could be a statewide. But I'll just give you an example of a Ram Bhakt who said, so do you think we are going to support Akhilesh Yadav? We are okay. They have done. There is a scam done during BJP rule. But are we going to support Akhilesh Yadav, whose father ordered firing on caste sevaks, who have been against the Rama temple? So the thinking is very, very distorted. And right now we can say yes, BJP has lost its credibility. They are in trouble. But let's watch out what they do in the coming months, and that will decide what happens in the elections eventually.
Very, very interesting. Also, elections are a little far away, and
Yes.
there are very many dynamics. In fact, in the build-up to this program, when we were testing our microphones, Sunita ji and I were, Mr. Sharad, discussing whether there is the possibility of Yogi Adityanath being removed. Now, we know that this conversation has been going on since 2021. That has not happened. There is anger against him, 10 years of anti-incumbency, but can the BJP risk it? And can Ram Mandir be the reason why this risk will be taken? Also, Ram Mandir has nothing to do with Yogi Adityanath. These are not people appointed by Yogi Adityanath, right? So there are multiple dynamics at play. What comes to your mind? The politics behind it.
Well, as far as the politics is concerned, it's very clearly evident that left to Delhi, they would have brought Yogi Adityanath, put him in the dock. But they couldn't possibly do it because Yogi is the one, and everybody knows it's an open secret that how much there is mutual hatred between Champat Rai and Yogi. And so the idea of constituting the SIT and entrusting this whole investigation to SIT was Yogi Adityanath's, because invariably I always believe SITs, first of all, SITs are not constituted for such big crimes which involve something like a Ram temple, which has dominated the history of the political destiny of the country. Secondly, but invariably SITs are constituted in order to ensure a tailor-made report. And Yogi could have probably managed it and brought the crooks, all the crooks to book. To that extent, I mean, I give him full marks for ensuring that the real crooks were put in the dock. But before he could do that, he didn't realize the problem is about his advisors also, because ultimately those sitting at the helm of this SIT are bound to first listen to the bosses in Delhi and not in Lucknow, and they jolly well do it. So that's the reason they found. Now that is how, SIT is very convenient. Whoever is in power, you can give it a twist, turn anything the way you want it. In this case, Yogi couldn't do it because SIT is now controlled by the Delhi bosses. And that is the reason that Champat Rai was given a complete clean sheet. Mind you, that Nripendra Mishra, who's the greatest blue-eyed boy of the Prime Minister, but there was a time when we used to consider him as a very honest, upright officer. He has, I think, now that the what we have seen of Nripendra Mishra is not that Nripendra Mishra anymore. He's an opportunist taking advantage of the situation. He is someone who tries to wash his hands off the whole thing by pleading that he has nothing to do with the trust, when he was actually a member of the trust. And exactly 36 hours later, when probably he got a word from the top, he said he issued a clean chit for Champat Rai, uncalled for. He said, I can vouch for Champat Rai, not anybody else. What such a spineless, I would call him a completely spineless bureaucrat, whom we used to rate as a very upright guy with a steel frame. That Nripendra Mishra is gone. He has vested interests. His son is MLC in the BJP. He got his son a ticket for the Lok Sabha, which he fortunately lost. Otherwise, I don't know what all he could have done. And now he's the one who planted this idea of a CEO. And don't be surprised if someone, whoever is he, Nripendra Mishra will not be appointed CEO at 82 or 83, I think. But he will have his man sitting as CEO. His dearest Champat Rai back in the game. This whole thing has been a complete sham. And to talk about, as far as this politics, the politics of the opposition is concerned, if opposition is able to keep this flame alive, which will be a very difficult task, because BJP and RSS will continue to play games whereby they can divert the attention of the people from this dacoity. And Nripendra Mishra and Hosmale, both of whom call this dacoity. What kind of dacoity is this? Where there's no dacoit. Dacoity is there, but there's no dacoit. This sounds like, if you remember a couple of years back, when Jessica Lal murder case, everyone was acquitted of the. There was a very good headline put out in Times of India. No one killed Jessica Lal. So there is a dacoity taking place, but there is no dacoit. Because
no one looted Ram Temple.
No one looted Ram Temple. And the poor chaps, and left to them, they would. That is where I'm sure Yogi must be a frustrated man today. Because he wanted to fix this guy right and proper. At least one crook would have gone. But Champat Rai managed his way, and that shows the importance of Champat Rai. That shows that he's the man who knows too much.
People in power operate. Yes,
Sanket, I would like to two things I wanted to say. That one, it is Yogi's election in 2027, by and large, and somehow people have not lost trust on him in this particular issue. They still feel that Baba will do something. Second, I think why he developed our cold feet was because they were all RSS guys. And we all know that Baba continues because of the blessings of RSS also. Had it been somebody from the BJP, I think the bulldozers would have demolished the buildings. So 2027, if it is Yogi's election, then I think opposition will have to work very hard to keep the issue alive and to put the blame on the government also, and Yogi also, that he was going so frequently. How come he was not aware of it, and connecting it to the land purchase and everything. you know. Otherwise, Baba will do something before we go to the polls. Right now, he's going slow. Like somebody in the BJP was saying, he's a very stubborn person. When it comes to it, sometimes he can be very stubborn. This is what Amit Shah had said at one of the meetings, involved meetings. But just because the RSS guys is involved, and because RSS is, he continues with their blessings, he would not like to upset them. At least he would like to take them into confidence before going ahead with further action. That's how I look at it.
Absolute.
To add further to that, he might be doing that what Sunita is saying, but fact remains that don't be surprised if at the end this whole inquiry, this SIT will continue as long as they want to, and will get the twists and turns the way Delhi wants it. So don't be surprised if some blame is also put at the end of the show against Yogi.
You never
Mohammed
know.
Shah would move heaven and earth, because ultimately the head of the state government, the police in which is investigating is police. Though they are how incompetent they are, they can't solve ordinary cases, but they are entrusted with the biggest inquiry. The way money has played and exchange hands in the land scam, there is no reason why it should not have been given to ED. ED's job is to look after money laundering. There's no ED. It is an interstate racket. There should be CBI. At least you can't. But you dismiss. This shows how much shraddha they actually have for Ram. If they were actually deeply interested in Ram, and they believe that Ram is the true Ram Bhakti, they would not have taken this whole thing so lightly. The
No, which is
way they
why I
are
said, which
dealing.
is why I said that all moves right from the beginning are extremely manicured and cosmetic.
Manicured.
It's almost like
Absolutely.
you have to, with surgical precision. Dheere, dheere,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
move a little slowly. When there'll be more heat, then we will try and show that we have done something. To that
yeah.
effect, Ms. Sunita Aaron and Mr. Sharad Pradhan, one by one, the same question to both of you. Uh, you want to change the general secretary, you go ahead and do it. You want to bring in a CEO for a CEO like private limited company sort of operation of the temple's administration, go ahead and do it. But the basic problem remains. If the intention is to loot, and if you're not removing those people who have been accused of carrying out that loot, or under whose leadership that loot has happened, if they continue to remain members, you can get whichever CEO you want. The problem will remain.
The problem will remain.
Uh,
And for all you know, those people who are trying to, I'm sorry sorry, Sunita, you carry on.
No, no,
I'll
no,
speak
it's
later.
okay. No, I was just
I
saying that now there is a larger issue involved. And already there is a demand for Sanatan board. There is already a demand that it should come out of government control. There is already a demand that RSS and VHP should not be involved in this setup. Because, today somebody was talking about revival of Ramale Trust. They said, if you trust Shankaracharya, give it to him, make him head. And the money, utilization of money is also being questioned, because they are saying that Shringeri, they Mutt and other mutts in South are financing schools, hospitals, and other temples. Whereas Kashi temple and Ram Mandir temple and other temples in UP do nothing of that sort. So I think this is going to open a Pandora box. Government may have to come out with some system by which they may not want to do, because so far it has been VHP, RSS, government, BJP. It's all one together. So in case this pressure builds up for a trust of Shankaracharyas and Dharmacharyas and all that, then I think it will be a bigger loss for them. They lose control of the temples they have built.
No, and a proper audit, Mr. Sharad Pradhan, don't you think? I mean, when a trustee of a temple, where the trust itself has been accused of a donation fraud, pulls in a 1.3 crore vehicle, a Toyota Wellfire, naturally questions will arise. Where is this money coming from? Maybe it's his hard-earned wealth. Maybe, but there has to be a proper audit. If you want to bring in a CEO, see, temple as a source of faith is not in question. Temple and its economics, the temple economy
Hey,
has to be
exactly.
put in question. Mr. Sharad Pradhan.
Uh, well, the whole idea behind this, even the CEO of business, I'm told that Mr. Nipendra Mishra has somebody in mind whose case he would like to push for the CEO's job. Then, the question is, who is going to be owning the trust? The state government or the central government? That is a big question. Or whether it is going to be converted into a private trust. It is not like Tirupati Trust, which runs medical colleges, engineering colleges, super specialty hospitals. They do this. Tirupati is known to be the finest of, and they are looked after by the Andhra government, that trust. Here, a top bureaucrat told me here today, the guy who was running for this job in UP happens to be a blue-eyed boy of the chief minister and has been in controversies right from the beginning. There were stories about a theft in his house, theft of 65 crores that remained in public domain for a long time. But still he manages to remain and have the eyes and ears of the chief minister. So he is also angling for this job. So there are many people who would want to become, because the trust is huge. It's not because they have Ram Bhakti. It is because the new CEO will find new ways of filling his coffers. And in the bargain, also helping others to fill their coffers. Which is why you will never get to the truth. When this whole thing began, I had said that the whole idea behind this is there's one lobby which is trying to get somebody hanged, and the other lobby which is trying to protect those groups. The objective is not to unearth the truth. That shows, and this is what the opposition needs to highlight. For some reason, the opposition appears to be a little restrained because they think that the BJP, with all its wherewithal, this media in their pocket, they will instantly blame them and label them as anti-Hindu, anti-Sanatan, and whatnot. But this is where they have to fight it. If the opposition concedes and lies low, the game is over. BJP has won it.
Exactly, and just to give you a sort of a live example, there was a senior leader who had been tweeting since morning about the constitution of the new, general secretary and other people who have taken the position of Champat Rai and others, and he had tweeted about their background and how there was allegations of financial bungling in the past. And I requested this gentleman to come and speak, and he said that the BJP will spin this around and prove that we are anti-Hindu. So I'm kind of on the down low. So that is the reality of the opposition right now as far as attacking the BJP
Sadly.
on the issue of Ram Temple. A very studied silence. They feel that the Hindus and the devotees of Ram should do the talking, not
No,
the
but
opposition.
Sanket,
It's very interesting.
Sanket, the
Yes.
reason is that the BJP is very good at giving it a twist. The issue is scam. The issue is pilferage of, chadava and offerings. Issue is not your bhakti. So they are just giving it a twist, a very clever twist. Again, talking about car sevaks, again talking about you have not visited. The issue right now is not about Akhilesh Yadav and Rahul Gandhi not visiting Ayodhya. The issue is pilferage. And somehow, to divert attention from pilferage, they raise other issues. And this is how they're trying to corner the opposition. So the opposition has to be very, very careful because there is a battery of people, and or even on social media, if you see, people are talking about that, okay, whatever it is, BJP build the temple and all that stuff. They're trying to build that narrative. How far they'll be successful, and now, right now, they're trying to nail Akhilesh Yadav by talking about his connection with Tinu Yadav. Now, he said, remove it in 10 minutes, or I'll file a case in the court. But what about the courts? Who's going to listen right now? There are a lot of constraints perhaps the opposition is feeling. But I was surprised that the Congress delegation rushed to Ayodhya. They was quiet. All these days we did not hear much, and I haven't heard much from Rahul as yet. Akhilesh has been talking about it. Mayawati gave one statement, I suppose, which was quite a balanced. It was balanced quite a bit. Rahul perhaps once or twice, and then this guy Ajay Rai suddenly goes to, with all the MPs, go to Ram Mandir. Why? Matlab, you wanted attention on yourself, on your visit to Ram Mandir, or you wanted attention on scam? So the entire purpose of talking, highlighting the scam was defeated, because then the issue became, I kept thinking why CM has stopped him, why he has been house arrested, because the discussion is not on scam. Everybody is discussing Ajay Rai, and all the MPs stopped at one of the guest houses. So, in fact, they are very good at diverting discussions from the main issue. And the main issue is scam, nothing else. People are also talking
Very
about
nicely
scam,
said.
nothing else.
Correct.
So
Very
let
nicely
Let
said.
me,
So
let
while
me,
the
Sanket, let me add
yes, sir.
something.
Sure,
This
sir.
In this whole game, there is still no reason. I don't justify any reason why the entire opposition, first of all, why the entire opposition is not ready, is not showing conviction in fighting this whole thing. If they stick to the truth without worrying about the consequences, if they continue to worry about the consequences of BJP running a campaign against them because of this, then they are doomed. They do not even have, just imagine, the BJP continues to blast Akhilesh Yadav and his father for ordering firing on car sevaks. There is hardly a murmur. Beyond a murmur, it doesn't go that the man who ordered this was Nripen Mishra as principal secretary to the chief minister in those days. And secondly, another question, when they talk of firing, I don't understand why the opposition, particularly Samajwadi Party, is not able to give them a retort that, well, okay, my father was responsible for firing, but why did Mr. Modi give him Padma Vibhushan? Was Mr. Modi very happy that Mulayam Singh or Yadav ordered firing? So he gave me, he said, if you hadn't ordered firing, we would have not been able to take advantage of this. So here it is. Padma Vibhushan is the highest civilian award after Bharat Ratna. Nobody has questioned. You should ask him, why did Mulayam Singh was given a Padma Vibhushan? It's a big question. Somebody who had ordered firing, who keep cursing. The entire Rashtriya Swam Sevak Sangh has only one thing about against Mulayam. अरे तो भाई, why the hell did you give him? आप बताएं, इसका जवाब दें. नहीं है उनके पास जवाब. But opposition, I think, lacks conviction. Opposition lacks guts. And if they continue to behave like in this sheepish manner, they are finished. BJP knows how to win the game.
Okay, so Sunita ji feels that in this, while the BJP will try to shift the narrative to faith, the opposition must keep true to the narrative of finances. So in a
Yeah.
faith versus finances matrix, you must clearly know where to land your message. And Mr. Sharad
Exactly.
Pradhan is of the opinion that just go ahead, go hammer and tongs. If you start worrying
Well,
about the consequences, then you are doomed. Thank you very
no,
much. Always enriching
Thank
to
you.
speak to the two of you,
Thank you.
Mr. Sharad Pradhan and Ms. Sunita Iron. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you.
thank you, Sanket. Thank you. Always
All
a
the
pleasure to be with you.